Dear silence, I avoid you, not accidentally, intentionally. I avoid you because I know what happens when we're together. You know, you have a way of bringing out the parts of me that I've worked so hard and for so long to keep hidden. The parts of me that I don't show the world. The parts of me that I don't show my friends and family. The parts of me that I don't show up on social media. The parts of me that I don't show on stages. The parts of me that may not be as confident as other parts of me. The parts of me that still hurt. The parts of me that still wonder. The parts of me that still cling on to glimmers of hope. And I don't want to sit in that. I don't want to feel that. And more than anything, I wish that the weight that you bring when we're together would just simply disappear. I wish there was a way that I can make the heaviness just go away. And so what do? Instead of sitting with you, I run. I distract myself. I distract myself with everything possible to just simply get away from that space. I fill every empty space with something loud enough to keep me from hearing what you've been trying to tell me. And then I scroll. I scroll and I scroll and I scroll and I scroll. And it's not because I care so much about what's on my screen, but because I feel like every swipe pulls me a little bit further away from your grasp. And if I could just get a few more seconds away, and it'll give me a few more laughs, and I could just watch a few more videos, anything to avoid being alone with my own thoughts. And so then I found myself before filling my life with relationships that I hope would quiet the emptiness that was inside of me. By no means am I saying those relationships were bad, but somewhere along the line, somewhere along the way, I learned to sit with people before I ever learned how to sit with myself. And despite everything that it cost me, I kept choosing the distraction because the distraction feels easier than the discovery. And so when I'm with you, silence, I worry about what I'm missing. I worry about everything I'm missing. And then I begin to feel restless. I become uncomfortable. And I start wondering about what everybody else is doing. What are the opportunities am I overlooking? What conversation is happening somewhere in the world that I'm not a part of? What success is someone else finding while I'm sitting here doing nothing? That's what I feel like would happen if I sit in silence. But the truth is, it's been so long since I just sat with us, just you and me. So much so that I don't even know you anymore. And if I'm honest, I'm sure you don't know me either. I might not even know myself. And that's what scares me most. Because what if you really saw me? Not the version that everybody applauds. Not the Marine. No, not that guy. I'm not talking about the leader in me. I'm not talking about the person that coaches people. I'm not talking about the father that I am, and I'm not talking about the husband. Not the man who always seemed to have an answer, but I'm talking about the real me. The tired me. The scared me. The worried me. The dreamer who sometimes still wonders if he's going to be able to accomplish everything that he wants to accomplish before his time is up. The little boy who still carries questions that he never really learned to ask or understood should he ask it. If you saw all of him, would you still stay silent? Or would you too run in the same way that I've spent years running from you? And maybe that's why I keep postponing this conversation. I keep telling myself that someday when life slows down, when the timing gets a little bit better, when I'm a little bit older, or maybe when I'm more strong, or when I'm ready, then I can sit with my distant friend, silence. Then maybe we can get some quality time together. But maybe it's just another excuse. Maybe life isn't too busy. And maybe I am. And maybe I'm the one who just simply keeps choosing comfort over doing the deep work. Hey, what's up? For you to be here right now in this moment, this lets me know that without a doubt, you are one of the heartbeats that I'm always talking about, because this conversation isn't easy, but it was one that I needed to have. It was a conversation between me and the silence that I refuse to sit with. So I don't need you to go anywhere. But what I do need you to do after this, I want you to go to that description and I want you to click on that link, because I need you to get in the Elevation community. If you think this is something that you want, imagine what it's like when we're meeting and we're actually able to talk face to face. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the room. And once again, every message that I have here is for all of my heartbeats out there, and I'm glad you're one of them. Let's go. Maybe I like to choose easy over doing what's necessary. Maybe I'm choosing attention over intention. And I know that to be factual, because when I'm with you, I can't hide. And the reality is, hiding has always felt safe. Hiding has allowed me to postpone conversations that I knew I needed to have. Hiding allows me to pretend that everything is okay when everything is not okay. And it gives me permission to become somebody. Gives me permission to become someone who the world recognizes, while slowly losing sight of the person that I want to become. And so tell me this: how can you be so quiet and yet so incredibly loud? And how can everything I try to do to drown you out, I still hear you calling? And then it finally hit me. It was never you. You're not loud. My mind is. And you're not chasing me. My thoughts are. I'm not being exposed by the time that we have together, but what's happening in this process is I'm being introduced to myself. And so every thought that I've ever ignored, every knock that was happening on the door, every fear that I've ever buried, now, if I were with you, I'm starting to realize that there's a place for it to find its voice, but I'm starting to feel like everything is catching up. And the child that's inside of me, the man who's inside of me, the one who still wants to be healed, the one who wants to make sure that, I know I'm worthy, but then there's that thing, the one who learned to survive before I fully learned to understand myself. He always seems to find me when you arrive. And maybe that's why I feared you. Not because of what you do, but because of the companion that you come with. And that's me. You see, what happens when we get together is that you reveal every fear that I had, whether it's a real fear or whether it's imagined. That's what you bring with you. And with that comes every dream that I've delayed, every excuse that I've rehearsed for myself to make myself feel better. Every wound that I've covered up instead of cleaning it. You remove all of the noise, and then suddenly there's nowhere left to run. And then deep down, I've always known that there was the truth about you, that you aren't my enemy. In fact, you're probably the best thing for me, because the real enemy is the inner me. And I'm realizing this at this very moment as I sit here with this letter, that growth doesn't happen in the noise. And wisdom is typically not found in distraction. And identity, for me, is built while it's not built while performing for everybody else, but it's done in the dark. And it's built when nobody is watching. And when it's just me, and it's just me and my thoughts, and I have the courage to stop running, I know that's when things change. And so maybe what you've been offering me all along is not loneliness, but maybe it's clarity. And so, silence, I know that you've never come to push me, but you've come to help me. You come to help me along this journey. And when I thought you were bringing emptiness, that emptiness was the space that I needed. And in that space, there has been plenty of room for me to grieve that I haven't done. And there's an opportunity for me to reflect on some things. There's an opportunity for me to forgive. And in you, I discover reasons to become. When I start writing this letter, I knew I wanted to write this letter as a form of goodbye to you, Silence. But now I think it's better fitting for me to make this an apology. And so I'm sorry that I spent so many years blaming you for conversations that I refused to have with myself. I apologize for when I mistook your presence for pain, when all you ever offered me was space. And in that space, I could find truth. And so maybe, just maybe, the next time you show up, I won't reach for my phone. And I won't search for another distraction. I won't run to the noise. Maybe I'll stay. Maybe I'll listen. Maybe finally I'll become strong enough to sit with the person that I spent my entire life trying to avoid. Me. So sweet silence. I think I'm finally able to understand that you never left. I did. And maybe it's time I came home.